What is up guys, iiZoDiAc here. In my last video I talked about Vayne, so if you want to learn how to play that champion, please go check that out. And I'm back again with another champion guide featuring Yasuo. So my goal in this video is to make a high skill champion such as Yasuo very easy to play. So without further ado, let's get started. Yasuo, contrary to popular belief, is not an assassin. He may be built like one, however his true role is what Riot listed him, a fighter. Why is Yasuo considered an assassin? His last breath and his recommended build, along with his high mobility, have led to his current image. The reason why Yasuo is not an assassin is because he gets punished extremely hard for missing even a single Steel Tempest or getting hit or getting cc'd. Players also aren't rewarded as much for mastering his high skill cap and playing him as an assassin. So in this video I will teach you how to play Yasuo as a fighter. So let's start with his abilities. Q. Steel Tempest. Yasuo thrusts his sword forward, damaging all enemies it hits. The third Steel Tempest throws out a whirlwind, damaging and knocking up enemies it hits. W. Wind Wall. Wind Wall is an ability which blocks all enemies' projectiles, except tower hits. His E. Sweeping Blade. Yasuo dashes to a selected opponent doing magic damage and marking them. Also, each cast increases the next dash damage by 25%. His ultimate, Final Hour. This ability makes Yasuo blink to the nearest airborne enemy champion to the cursor and doing some good damage. When the ability is casted, Yasuo gains 1500% penetration to bonus armor for 15 seconds. And last but not least, his passive, Way of the Wanderer. His passive consists in two parts. The first part is that his crit chance is doubled, but the critical strike damage is lowered by 100%. The second part is that at maximum flow, the next time Yasuo takes damage, he gains shield that temporarily absorbs damage. Now that you know his abilities, let's move on to the builds. I will tell you all the builds which are the reason Yasuo's win rate is so low, and then I will reveal my secret sauce. First we have the Minion Slayer, the Assassin Yasuo, Tanky Yasuo, and of course my build, Fighter Yasuo. Now the point of this build is to make you a heavy hitter. Unlike any people who define the word fighter as a synonymous to bruiser, Yasuo falls into the fighter category as Riven, Fiora, and tryndamere do. High damage potential game carries who build at most one defensive item and who trade defense for purely offense in order to survive. This build allows you to fulfill this role perfectly. While the lack of sustain can seem a little daunting, the build itself is focused on setting you to completely destroy whoever enemy you use your ultimate onto. By the time you finish your Infinity Edge, you have 100% crit damage and can utterly rip apart any squishy on the enemy team. Now, the way you want to build these items is to first buy a brutalizer on your first back and try to rush the ghost blade. Then it really depends on your gold. If you have a lot of gold, you should go for the Infinity Edge, but if you are a little bit behind or the enemy mid laner is as strong as you are, the best option is to go for the Last Whisper. After that, you should pick up the Triforce, and the last item, of course, you need to put Guardian Angel to survive. Now, let's talk about some advanced strategies of Yasuo. The first trick I will talk to you about is called the Chi strat, which means that you do something annoying but somewhat strong as well. This strategy is used at level 1 and resolves around your E. So now what you need to do is to build up some stacks on your E. Personally, I use it in a specific way. The way I do it is that I use my E on 2 fighter minions, then use one on the ranged one and attack your opponent with E and some auto attacks. Then after you did some good damage, you should retreat with another dash on the caster minion and then do the same thing. This strategy is really risky, but I recommend it to any Yasuo player. But it is also very crucial what you do after you get the kill. When you go back and buy an item or two, what you want to do is to abuse that advantage. Use the trick again and again and again and make the enemy mid laner go on tilt. The second tip I'm going to talk to you about is using your ultimate at the right time. You see, many inexperienced Yasuo players use their ultimate as soon as possible, and that's a really bad thing. For example, let's say that you are dueling 1 versus 1 and that you need to do, what you do is to use your ultimate at the last second. The reason for this is that while they are in the air, you will have enough time to get an auto attack off and have more time for your Q to reset the cooldown, so that you will use it again, which will overall increase your damage output on that target. Here is another example why while using your ult immediately is a bad idea. Let's say you are facing two opponents. The first one is Blitz and the other one is Kalista. You want to use your ultimate on Kalista, which is on the back. If you use your ultimate immediately, you will use the ult only on Blitzcrank, and that's it. You won't be able to jump on Kalista and do a lot of damage and kill her. There are only two scenarios that you must use your ultimate immediately. The first one is if you need the passive, because once you use your ultimate, you get a full stack passive, which is your shield. And the second one is your positioning. If you need to escape from the position you are currently, and the only way to do it is with your ultimate you have on a specific target, then do it. But other than that, you shouldn't use your ultimate immediately for the reasons I mentioned before. For runes, I use 5 mark of critical chance and 4 mark of attack damage, 8 seal of armor and 1 seal of critical chance, 9 glyph of magic resist and 3 quint of attack damage. Now for masteries, it's a very basic AD page. It is 21, 9 and 0. And for the ability sequence, if you would like to use the G strat, you should first pick up your E. If you don't want to use it, you should probably start with your Q and of course max it. Then the second ability that you need to max is your E, and last your W. Of course, pick up points in your ultimate whenever you can. So now go and queue a game, pick Yasuo and destroy them all. Peace.